Welcome back. Now, for decades, elderly residents of the Goas area in Khorixas have lived with blocked drains, flooding sewage, and failing sanitation. Although the town is currently upgrading the sewage system, the taps in the area have been closed, forcing residents to rely on weekly water deliveries or unsafe alternatives. Now, the challenge mirrors complaints first raised in 2022, leaving residents questioning when meaningful change will reach their homes. Freelance journalist Clemans Miyanicwe is now on the ground in Khorixas speaking to pensioners in the area to assess the progress since the story first emerged in 2022 and bring the latest voices from the community. Good morning, sir, and thank you so much for making time to speak to us this morning.
Morning, Goas, Namibia.
Clemens, you have been on the ground with regards to this area. What is the current situation regarding the water access while the sewage upgrade is underway?
The residents have expressed satisfaction with the sewage drainage system and the recent manhole upgrades. However, they have raised serious concerns regarding the water supply as it's currently cut off due to the upgrades.
Okay, now you say residents say that water supplied by the contracted company only arrives once a week. Is this true? And how are the elderly people coping during the rest of the week if water is only delivered once a week?
As the majority of residents are elderly, many are unable to fetch water themselves from neighbor households. In some cases, they are forced to pay others to collect water for them, which places additional financial costs. They want water to be supplied to them at least 3 times a week, as toilet needs to be flushed. Some don't have enough water containers for storage. However, since yesterday, the town council has also started delivering water to them. So that makes the town council and the contractor delivering water in a week.
Is there a reason as to why water is only delivered once a week, maybe perhaps that you have heard from the contractor?
We have not had some time to speak with the contractor, just with his employees, some of his employees, and they said that they are assisting residents with water since it's cut off due to construction of it, of the upgrade.
Okay. Now, we understand you spoke to pensioners living in experimental houses built in the late 1960s. What conditions are these homes in, and what risks do they pose to the elderly?
Can you again just repeat that?
Now, we understand that you spoke to some of the elders who are living in these experimental houses built in the 1960s. What is the condition of these houses, and do they pose any risks to those that are living in these houses?
The houses have been built in 1960s. So due to some invasive prosopis, or in Dama we call it ngara, some of the walls are cracked of the houses, of few houses, and also these invasive pieces of trees also interferes with the sewage pipes. So perhaps with the upgrades of manhole and the sewage drainage system, the conditions might change.
Now, many residents say when it rains, sewage mixes with rainwater, flows into their houses. What healthy and safety concerns were raised with you when you're engaging with the residents?
One of the safety issues is that since it's at times when it's raining, our sewage water mixed with rainwater, so this poses a challenge to elderly who are at risk to diseases due to all their old age, and that children are also playing in this contaminated water at times, which is a serious health risk to them as well.
Now, with water cut off due to ongoing drainage constructions, how are pensioners expected to cope without adequate water access?
Pensioners, as I said before, at times paying some of the others to collect water for them. But since yesterday, the town council also come on board by delivering water. That now makes the contracting company and the town council. But they are, however, calling on the authorities, the contractor and the town council, to at least deliver for them water 3 times a week, especially on a Sunday, since on Sunday most of them people in the area do prepare themselves for their children for school the next day, like washing the school uniform. Yeah, that's the thing.
Now we hear that the town council has indicated that the drains are frequently repaired but blocked again due to objects thrown in and a lack of continuous water supply. How do residents respond to this explanation? Do they find validity in this explanation?
The residents acknowledge that can you get to the question again?
No, we understand that the residents indicate that, you know, the drainage system, pardon me, the town council says that the drains are frequently repaired but blocked again due to objects that are being thrown inside and a lack of continuous water supply. How do residents respond to this explanation coming from the town council?
Okay. Some residents do acknowledge that the improper disposal of objects can contribute to blockages, but they stress that the manhole issue or the drainage system in whole is outdated drainage system that has been in existence since 1960s and was constructed in 1960s and it's right for a smaller population. But right now it can't handle today's demand. In addition to the town's, in addition to the sewage drainage, the town sewage also passes through towards this area, whereby it takes the sewage to a sewage treatment facility, creating additional pressure on the network under the conditions. The system simply cannot cope. So residents are therefore calling for greater investment and upgrades to the drainage infrastructure rather than being unfairly blamed for the failures caused by an aging and overloaded system.
Do we have an anticipated date as of to when the construction is expected to be completed?
The construction will take a few months. That will be like 2 to 4 months.
2 to 4 months. And finally, we know that we have obviously landed into a new year right now. We're heading towards the end of January. Has there been a difference from last year vis-a-vis compared to now in terms of the progress of the work that is being done with regards to this construction that is taking place?
Since the project started this year, we will see the difference once the construction is completed. So we are waiting for construction to be finished, and since these are a bit, the sewage drain system and the manholes are a bit bigger, the pipes will also be a bit bigger, we might see the change once only the construction is completed.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us before we let you go this morning?
Residents are calling for the removal of invasive precipitous trees as roots interfere with the sewage system and have caused structural damage by cracking the walls of the neighbor houses. They also reiterate a long-standing demand raised consistently over the past 3 decades for the write-off of the apartheid-era municipal debts, which many households have been unable to repay due to persistent poverty and unemployment. The majority of residents, particularly the youth, are unemployed, while many households are headed by the elderly people. Residents are therefore calling for increased private and government funding investment to create employment opportunities to enable young people to support their families and assist with the payment of municipal bills. And in addition, just lastly, residents are demanding significant increased funding for the upgrading of the sewage system, which is no longer able to handle it. They are also calling for the construction of a proper bridge for vehicles, as well as a safe pedestrian bridge across the riverbed. This is especially urgent given that the area is host to 3 schools, and safety of all learners remains a serious concern in this area.
Well, Clemans Miyanicwe, thank you so much for making time to speak to us this morning, and we hope that the situation in Khorixas gets sorted out soon.
Thank you.